Do you want to introduce it this time?
Nah, you normally do, right? You got that. Hello, everyone. You know.
All right. Hello, everyone.
Oh
Is that
my
how you
lord.
wanted, Mikey?
That hurt my ears a little tiny bit, but that's good.
Okay, a little bit of a peak,
Over the top.
but a little bit over the top. We can tone it down and go, hello, everyone. My name is Will Miss It, and welcome to the podcast hour. Together with Maikeru, ITrolledU, and Will Miss It. Very random thing while we're on it, but welcome, by the way, guys. It's been a while.
It's been too long, to be honest.
It's like last year or something. I feel like we haven't done a podcast since like last decade. Never gets
Oh
old.
god.
Haha.
We're doing this podcast because it's a bit of a special one in a way, because we haven't experienced what we're about to experience in the past 4 years. And considering RuneScape is almost 20 years now, that's actually quite a while, to be honest. But we're getting a new skill, boys. We're getting Archaeology. Finally!
That time.
I'm actually legitimately excited about a new skill. Not only just because it's a new skill and whatever, but because we don't experience this all that much anymore. And it is, by definition, a game-changing update. Like, the game won't be the same after this, purely because of all the things that is going to get added to it. Am I the only one who freaks out about that?
The power creep is what freaks me out a bit. When they revealed, oh look, these new gizmos are gonna allow you to make biting 4 and stuff like that. You're like, whew, that's a lot of power creep. There's no new boss. This is a bit scary. But other than that, I feel like the other things are super nice. And if it's gonna help with other skills and link into invention and link into these things, that's just benefit to all the other skills as well as having a new thing to dig your teeth into. But power creep does get me a bit scared.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be nice. It's kind of like quality of life in a skill. It sounds like there's gonna be a lot of things that are gonna enhance your gameplay experience and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see.
The power creep, is that like the... Can you define that for me?
Like when things get stronger and stronger and stronger.
Oh, right, yeah.
Things get easier in the game.
Yeah, so things get easier, and then there's no new super hard stuff to try it on, because the last boss we got was Solak, right? But since then,
Right, yeah.
there has been power creep in other areas. For example, 120 Herblore gave really overpowered overloads, and then you got loads of other new effects from different things that have come out since then.
Power bursts and stuff.
Yeah, and all of those type of things. So those type of power creep that is just coming into the game naturally is good for the game, but it also needs new stuff for it to test on. So hopefully Gold Sunshine 3 will be that, and then everything will go well after Archaeology's release and everything.
Well, I guess it's been a while since we had the new boss too. We're probably gonna get that soon. Hopefully, they did mention we're not gonna get God Wars this summer, as much as we would like to, and as much as they said it would happen. But it's gonna come soon, right?
Soon TM.
I reckon it'll be this year, but I don't know whether it'll be super summery time. It might be winter.
October, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that would make more sense. But yeah, this year definitely. And we're gonna jinx that now, We're gonna be...
Have they talked about the timeline?
Yeah, they did. They did mention a RuneFest, and they said they wanted to start working on it. That they wanted to release it this summer.
Yeah.
And I guess I can say this. I did talk to one of the JMods. You also did that, Maikeru, behind the scenes a little bit earlier, and they did say that everything they're announcing is something they're already working on.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a good sign.
But when Archaeology's delayed...
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about too.
That could cause issues with other things coming out later, because there's been everyone's been testing Archaeology, no one can test this other new thing that they're working on, so then that gets pushed back essentially.
I am kind of excited to see though, this might be wishful thinking, I don't know. I feel like I'm very negative these days regarding updates in general, but there's a lot of really good JMods working on Archaeology. So whenever that skill is released, we had a couple of patch weeks and that's out of the way. It's going to be quite exciting to see where these JMods will go, what kind of projects they will be, I guess, scattered over to, and how that will be visible in terms of the number of updates in the next few months.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like, obviously, Archaeology must have taken away a decent amount of resources, so are we going to get more updates more regularly now that Archaeology is going to get released? Because if they've been working on it for nearly 2 years, that's a lot of manpower being used for 2 years, so
yeah.
Maybe we'll get more consistent updates soon, and I hope so, because the updates they do produce are quality. Like PVM Hub was great. The 120 Herblore and the farming update, that was made very well. It's just we're not getting tons and tons. We're just getting like them here and there. So if it increases the frequency and keeps the quality, then I'll be a happy boy.
Yeah, dude, me too.
Yeah. I feel like recently they've tended to put out updates that already are things that we have in the game, like to make us do it more, like logs and stuff like that. And I hope that we trend towards more like actual content instead of playing things that we have been recently.
Yeah.
Hopefully the archaeology is the start of that.
Wasn't like, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't the Dinosaur Island the kind of last proper content update?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's almost a year ago, isn't it?
Yeah, other than like, quality of life things or things like what Ken said that already existed in the game, like
logs, yeah.
increase in the herb log cap is essentially like a drop log, and then PVM hub is just a quality of life thing that we should have had a long time ago.
Yeah.
So the big thing that has come out recently would be Anachronia. That wasn't really recently, was it? It's nearly...
I mean, Herb and Farm, 120 Herb and Farm, but like that's debatable as content because it's just like...
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It is content, but it's just like
Yeah.
not very fun to experience over time. I don't know.
Well, it's very minor content. It like maybe a bit of a controversial thing, and sorry to the JMods listening to this, but I feel like 120 Herblore is, well, it's just adding items, right? You have like a skill list and you're just adding more items into that. And the addition of items is not really a content update, if that's not offensive to someone.
It's not exciting.
Yeah, it falls under the same like category as I would class, the PVM hub. It's keeping players happy with revitalizing certain things or making things make more sense or fit better.
Yeah.
So, you've got now better overloads, you've got the power burst potions, you've got some bombs and stuff. You've got extra things to have fun with Herblore, but it didn't really change the skill or anything like that, right? So
It's like incremental increases or something.
yeah.
I think that was a necessary update though, because it did kind of add to a very I don't want to say a dead list, but a very outdated list of things. So I think it was a necessary update, but yeah, definitely not like content per se.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we're getting off a topic. So when it comes to archaeology in general, obviously that's coming out on the 30th of March, which we actually haven't said yet, right? So
Yeah.
that's an important thing. So it's under a month away, and me and Ken, I'm guessing Ken, you're racing, and you're gonna go ham on the new skill, right?
Yeah, you could say that.
Are we talking to the next rank 1 in RuneScape?
Definitely not, but try and get up there.
Yeah, I'm guessing that you're gonna do the skill until you're 200 mil kind of thing, right? You're not gonna...
Yeah.
But you might not spend insane amounts of time, which is understandable.
I'm not as motivated as I was before, I'll say, like for invention and getting to 5.2, but I still have a little bit of drive left, I think.
So, for those of you who don't know, Ken, when Invention came out, he was 5.2 bill, and obviously that increased the cap to 5.4, and he raced for that. And you're number 5?
Yeah, I was ranked 14 to 5.2, and now at 5.4, I'm at rank 5 now.
That's pretty cool, yeah. Are you worried, considering there are so many people at the moment who's also racing at the 5.2 stage?
Yes, I think it'll be interesting to see how Jagex handles account sharing.
Yeah, that's my scared part.
I'm kind of scared that they're not gonna hold the integrity to the player base and like just kind of let them account share and stuff. Although it can be something difficult to enforce, so I'm not sure how they're gonna tackle that, if they're even gonna bother.
But like, if one guy's on 24 hours a day, and then let some guys like sweating 18 hours a day as much as he can, that guy who's doing 24 hours a day because he's account sharing will get the advantage. So surely they're going to have to do something about it if people do it. Like, there's in the rules where it's, account sharing isn't allowed, and they've already stated multiple times that account sharing for competitive advantage is, instantly taken action upon. So
how would they tackle that in the past, though? Because I'm sure someone probably did it with the divination, for instance.
I don't think they ever did anything in the past. I mean, in the past, there wasn't as many people going for like first to 200 mil because really no one really cares about individual skills generally. I mean, obviously, like people that have like top ranks in individual skills have a lot of pride in that, but
Yeah.
like being top page overall is like a much bigger deal. So like when divination came out, like not many people were even like capped XP. I don't know if anyone was, but yeah, like it's just like a lot more people now are going to be trying to get top page overall. So it's
Yeah.
a bit of a different story.
Yeah.
So when it comes to when you done Invention to 5.4, how many people were 5.2 when Invention was released? Do you remember?
It was like 20 something. I think 20, probably like a page.
Jesus.
I'd say like 24, 25 something.
So
That's still quite a lot.
yeah, but if you think, right, 4 years have passed since then, and now there's nearly 800 people at 5.4.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
That's actually kind of messed up.
That is a huge difference. So it'll be the first time that, you know, in the hundreds of people, nearly 1,000 people will probably want to go for 5.6. Whether they go as hard as they can, whether they have real life commitments is a different story, right? You could probably, I don't know, get rid of like half of them that wouldn't be able to legitimately race because of commitments.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of people that are interested in going for the front page. Like, that's going to be a hard race.
I'm kind of excited about that. I had this like, I want to go for 200 mil too as skiller, which I don't know how quick or fast or slow it's gonna be, but I do have a dream per se of being at least the top 100 of 200 mil. But when you say that 800 people, I'm kind of losing hope on that.
Oh, I never thought about that actually. Like for people who just want individual skills like really high, like you have to race against people that are already 5.4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So someone who just wants to be like, I want to get 200 mil invention as not invention. I want to get 200 mil archaeology as quickly
I always
as possible.
do that.
Yeah, it's in my head where it's like invention is the new skill, but that was 4 years ago, Maikeru. Get with the times. It's one of those things where that's also a thing that the 5.4ers have to think about. Like, if you want to get rank 1 archaeology, you're also racing people that might not be 5.4. So there is nearly 800 people, but there could be thousands of people racing.
Yeah.
Oh, they probably are, to be honest. People love that kind of stuff, and especially the rich people, Jesus. Because I'm pretty sure you can buy it depending on well, based on what
Half
I've
and
seen.
half, yeah.
Half and half. I think it's going to be much like how smithing is right now, where you can buy a so-called endgame item and just use that for a lot of XP.
Ish.
Ish?
So the way it works is, I think comparing it to smithing's good, but I compare it to mining and smithing as a whole.
Okay, yeah.
You go and you do your like gathering, and you need to do gathering to get the artifacts.
Yeah.
But the materials you get alongside it to repair the artifacts, you don't have to gather all of those yourself because you can buy those from other players. So then that artifact, for a normal player who's not spending like billions of GP, they'll go and get all the materials needed for it themselves and then repair it.
Yeah.
Whereas us like 5.4 heads who are like racing for it, we're going to buy as much as we can, and I know people who are going to have alts they're going to run, and they're going to like get as much materials on there to trade over to their main, etc.
God. I didn't even think about Altscape.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that's going to go into getting as much materials as you can, so whenever you get one of these artifacts from your gathering side, from your mining side, you're then going to be able to instantly smith it, like if you bought all of the bars or the, you know, plate bodies off the GE and then went and hammered them, you know?
Yeah, I think they said that 95% of the things are tradable. Is that a quote? Like, I don't even know where that quote is from. I just heard that somewhere.
I haven't heard that, but probably.
You haven't heard that? Okay.
Because the artifacts are the big things, right?
But yeah, maybe like the things that aren't tradable are like extremely important
Yeah.
to progress your XP. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, I guess.
There's also those collection logs that they've got, so a lot of completionist people will want to fill those out, which is another thing that will get people maybe replaying the content, even if they're 200 mil, finding those artifacts and repairing them to get them ticked off on your list and get the perk that artifact provides. And it's going to be really fun as a skill, I think, but is it going to be fun going for 200 mil in it? Who knows?
That's what I've been wondering. Okay, so I've been following like the JMod Twitters whenever they've been like tweeting about archaeology and whatever, and they're all going like, "Oh, Mod Shogun comes into the office to train archaeology. It's so much fun." And I'm like, it's probably a good skill, but how much fun is it to just sit and grind artifacts?
Yeah, that's the thing. If it is like mining and smithing, how fun really are mining and smithing? Because getting 200 mil mining, I wouldn't say I had the most fun ever,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And next to that, after the weeks of playtesting, they said like the highest level or something was like 86, which again makes me wondering how quick is this skill? I know they've said like 2 weeks to 99 and another 2 weeks from there to like 120 and whatever, but it's if they've been working on it for like months and they're only level 86, like how, I don't know. Do you get my concern?
I wonder like how many times they actually like reset their progress and like how many iterations they've had while they were doing the skill and stuff like that. Also, like they probably have limited amount of time to play. They could probably only play it in the office or something, so that's also a factor. But
well, it's the same thing. I've been thinking about that too, right? Because obviously, I guess they're playing through it to make sure that there's no like bugs and like weird things going on in the higher levels or like any super fast way invention to train the skill that they don't really know about. But there as well, how in depth have they tried it, right?
Yeah.
Because I imagine myself working at Jagex and I would just sit at my computer doing my coding and I have it just running on the side doing whatever the highest possible level thing I could do. I wouldn't like go out of my way to explore and try to abuse it, right? So I don't know how effective that playtest was, but I do legitimately hope there's not going to be any massive break in that skill that's just going to get someone to 99 like an hour after release.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Jagex a lot of the time they underestimate the players, or maybe it's not underestimate, but like the players will always figure out a way to speed up skills and whatnot. So I kind of like when there's a way to speed up a skill as long as it's not like buggy or whatever you want to call it. But like I think it's pretty healthy to have like a fast way to do a skill and a slow way to do a skill. And I hope that they have like some way to do that that isn't just buy stuff.
How did you feel about the hand cannons for Invention when that happened?
Well, to my understanding, Invention was originally released as a Bible skill. So like in my mind, it was kind of weird that it was like just hand cannons or like ridiculously insane. I mean, I guess there was also Malevolent, I think, with undead components that was pretty similar XP, but it was a lot more expensive. So like, I don't know, like, I think it was originally a Bible and they kind of stripped that out of it, which was kind of interesting to me, but I didn't mind it incredibly much, but it did kind of feel cheap to just like make gizmos and that was like the skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I know you done a lot of errors, right, to get your 200 mil in the end, like once they changed all of the gizmo stuff.
Yeah, just turned into like Slayer V2, basically.
But that's a good thing because that's what Invention is, right? Like, Invention's one of those support skills that you can do anything in the game and then just get a boost from Invention and train it. Like, it's just like a side skill, and I think that's what is so good about Invention as a whole, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really good skill after all the fixes.
I do think they're going to try to make Archaeology quite its own thing, kind of like how the engineering was in one sense, where I did the playtest at RuneFest, and I didn't really see any way that it would include other skills, like most other skills, in one way would, where, like, imagine, like, how would you train Archaeology in Dungeoneering, for instance, right? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're not going to, for sure.
No. So I'm kind of, like, wondering how much of, like, will it feel like a minigame in that sense, where it's going to just be its own thing, or will it be incorporating all the other skills in that sense?
I don't feel like it needs to incorporate other skills to not feel like a minigame, though. Because if you look at fishing only really incorporates cooking. And, like, then that's that skill, right? So if it's a fundamental skill where it's mostly about digging and, finding these artifacts and repairing them, it's just going to feel like its own thing. We know it links into summoning and invention because of the things that you find. You have the ancient gizmos and invention tools and things like that. Then you have the ancient summoning. So they're trying to link it into a couple of things, but I don't think it will feel like a mini game. I feel like they said that they wanted it to feel like a RuneScape skill.
Yeah.
So I do think they're trying to avoid what you said with like making it feel like a mini game. I feel like if Sailing was released, that'd feel like a mini game.
It's gonna be kind of exciting though to see like how they're gonna make it a RuneScape skill. Well, what does that entail? Like, is that just the feel?
Grinded.
Yeah, to be honest. True though. To be fair, I don't know. It's gonna be quite exciting to see at least how that's gonna be. But I'm a sucker for like graphics, right? So I'm very excited to see the areas that are going to be able to train on and how they're going to look.
They look pretty cool.
Oh yeah, for sure. They've shown Everlight.
Yeah.
That looked so good.
Yeah, that was quite nice.
If they all look like that, then it's going to be sick overall. Like, I know they showed a little bit of sneak peeks at RuneFest, but there really wasn't tons shown. And they've shown Everlight in more detail on a recent stream. But if they all look like Everlight, then that skill is just going to be a cool environment to train whenever you get to a new place. You're going to be like, oh.
I want to see the Molten area.
Yeah, I think that would be the coolest.
And they said they're using new graphic stuff, right? Didn't they say that today in the stream?
Yeah, so they're using the ones that has like better like reflections and things like that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they showed that during RuneFest 2, the core thing. That is something that concerns me again, though, because they still haven't updated a lot of the other older graphics, and they're like that was a big inconsistency when they introduced NXT and they introduced a new kind of mapping to textures and whatever that looked good in NXT, but not Java, for instance. And they still had the Java stuff, and now they're introducing another graphical method that's going to put the old new stuff to be outdated again. It feels a bit messy, in my opinion.
Do you mean messy as in like old places should get reworked so that if they release new stuff, it doesn't look like two different games?
With the Archaeology graphics, RuneScape is going to have 4 different graphical designs in one game. It's very messy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I understand what you mean, because you go to Ardy and it looks like it's, back in 2007, and you go to Manor Farm, which is a little tiny bit north of Ardy, and then it looks like super up to date. It is weird. I get the messy side, yeah.
So that's kind of just what I'm worried about. Like, I'm all for like evolvement and whatever, but I think they should kind of try to work harder on updating old stuff before they release a lot of new stuff, in my opinion.
Not really that big of a graphics person. Like, I don't really mind what a game looks like in general, but I can see what you're saying for sure. Like, it's definitely jarring going from like some places and then going somewhere that's actually graphically updated.
Yeah, I agree.
I just hope that, like, so my biggest fear is that Archaeology is going to suck, and then we've waited an extra 3 months for it. They're hyping it up. They're saying it's this amazing thing. They're saying it's super fun. And then everyone will go and try it, and they'll get bored within an hour, and then they won't want to do it. And that's my biggest fear, because if someone gets bored and don't want to do it now, they don't have to. They don't need the max skill. There's PVM hub, etc.
That's true.
So I feel like it may take away from skilling if this isn't a good thing. And I feel like if someone comes back to the game and they try this new skill and it's just a grind fest, they're going to be like, well, what's the point in playing again? And then they'll quit again. So I'm in two minds. If it comes out and it's amazing, then it's going to be so healthy and so amazing for the game. But if it comes out and it's a bit of a letdown, it's going to be bad for the game.
I think they're trying to make it so that you don't have to train it, but like people who are PVMers and who really want to like min-max or whatever you want to call it are going to have to do it, because Archaeology is going to have all the artifacts, and the artifacts seem pretty broken, and they even stated that they're going to try and make them overpowered because you can only have a limited amount per, like, I think you can only have up to 3 or something.
Up to 3, and they have points, right, for each one.
Yeah. So, like, I think that's their plan, is to get people engaged in the skill that aren't interested in skilling.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough. That's a good way to think about it. I get that for sure, because then they cut. Same with ancient gizmos. That's not going to be saying at low level archaeology. That's going to be in the hundreds. Like, that's going to be a high thing. And to get the ancient gizmo,
the summoning, dude.
Yeah, summoning as well. Like, you need to probably unlock a decent amount of the skill, or unlock certain artifacts, or like play through it to an extent to be able to do those things. So that would get PVMers to do it for sure.
They said that the Ripper Demon familiar is going to be stronger than the Steel Titan, so yeah, people are definitely going to want that if they're PVMing a lot.
Yeah, for sure. What's your opinion on the like artifacts and stuff? Do you think it's a good thing, or do you think like it's a bit overpowered for a skill rather than like a boss given items? You know, like, is it too much power creep in a skill?
Now we're getting into the topic of like should like PvP rewards be locked behind PVM rewards and stuff like that? Should skilling rewards be locked behind PVM? I don't know. Like, I guess, I mean, I play the game for a lot of different reasons. Like, I've had multiple accounts. Like, I like making new accounts. I like maxing my XP. I'm kind of a PVMer, you know, I'm a little bit of everything, so I don't mind it being locked behind a skill like the archaeology, what are they called? Artifacts. And but I know like a lot of PVMers would prefer it to not be locked behind. But honestly, most PVMers don't mind new skills. I feel like they actually enjoy when new skills come out. So
Yeah, I feel like the majority of the community like new skills because
yeah.
it gets everyone together as well, right? You all go to this new place, you all explore, you all get level 20, you move to a different place together, and yeah, it gets people active, it gets people in the same place, and I think the community is a really big part of that with a new skill.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just is there going to be enough things to use the new stuff you're getting on, right? If they release Gold Wars Dungeon 3, that'll be nice, but if they delay that,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
there's no new bosses and stuff, like all of this thing, like all of these perks and stuff that we're getting, we won't have anything to use them on except for going to get a 1 second kill at some boss because we have nothing else to do, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's definitely like one of the things that's an issue right now in PVM at least, because like a lot of the content, like if you look back in I think it was 2013, we had like Araxor, Virago, Rise of the Six. We had a ton of bosses all at once, and like these days we get like one a year, maybe, unless you want to consider like the elite dungeons. But a lot of PVMers don't really like that. Unless they change it a little bit where you don't need to like clear all the trash. I think a lot of people would like it, but
yeah, for
I don't
sure.
know. It's gonna be quite exciting to see. I think what I'm worried about the artifacts is that how it's gonna render other things a bit useless, I guess. I remember at RuneFest, I can't remember the exact details, but it was something about like thieving, right? A skilling related thing where that artifact did the same thing as something else in the game, which obviously would make other people go for the item in Archaeology rather than other content. So I don't know. I'm a bit worried it's going to start killing other content related things in the game.
Okay. I think what you were referring to with the female one was the automatic pickpocketing, which is with the master camouflage outfit normally.
Yes.
Yeah, there's lots of different stuff like that, and yeah, I guess that's a form of power creep, but not necessarily for PVM, more just power creep in the game in general, right? It's one of those things where you kind of have to do the skill to get the outfit anyway, and whatever. It's kind of like a passive thing,
I guess.
So if you get the auto pickpocket early, I don't think that's going to kill off people wanting the outfit because it has other useful perks.
Yeah, I guess.
But obviously there is certain things that come out, like rune crafting pouches never degrade is one of the perks.
Yeah.
And, well, at least in the testing, obviously everything's subject to change.
Yeah.
But if your rune pouches never degrade, then whoever's bought the Livid Farm thing to make your rune pouches degrade slower or whatever it is, has now just wasted their points. Or, like, that's now redundant, essentially, right? So stuff like that I can really understand. I can relate to that. But I guess when you've done something in the past, if it was harder than what you do now, it's just a better thing for everyone else. What I think is, like, whenever they nerf something or buff something, if you done it and it was harder, then you should just feel happy for the people who get it a bit easier, right? Because maybe what you done was too difficult and, it was a lot of effort, yes, but just be nice about the people getting it easier. I don't know how to explain it properly. I don't know whether I said it right.
I think I get what you mean.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like trim comp with the Castle Wars and all that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I did 5,000 games of Castle Wars. You should too. But it's like, no, it's kind of a useless requirement,
I remember Zesimo talked about that as well when things became faster as well, that he didn't really feel as motivated anymore because everything was going so much quicker and all the hard work that he put in back in the day was kind of, in that sense, for no use. And I don't know, that's a bit of a weird, like, ideology, in my opinion, because I feel like the game has to get quicker with time.
Yeah. It's just the natural evolution of the game.
Yeah,
so,
you take the look at, old school, and there's so many things that have been released on old school that have made it so much quicker to level, or like way less effort to level, or just, quality of life. And old school's the first person to be like, hey, you're playing Easyscape, but you look at what old school was when it was released compared to now. There's so much Easyscape that's been implemented. It's just what happens in games, like Ken said, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just natural progression. You could call it power creep even.
Well, I'm kind of excited for the new skill. I will definitely be going for 200 mil myself whenever I get it. I don't know. I have basically nothing to do all April, so I'm ready to grind that out as much as I can.
Grind it.
Okay, so that's a question as well. How long do you think, like both Ken and Will, like both of you, what do you think it will take for the first person to get 99, 120, such 200 mil in the skill?
How long?
Yeah, like how long for each milestone?
Well, based on what Jaggers has said, they said 2 weeks, so we know that's not happening. I think we're
They said 2 weeks for
yeah,
what?
for 99.
Did they?
Yeah, so I'm giving it a week, maybe 5 days, purely because I
No
think they're
way.
underestimating people and their money pouches. Maybe a week, because it could be they're like analyze the players and be like, yeah, this guy's probably gonna get it quicker than that guy. I'll give him 2 weeks, right? So maybe a week, maybe give or take a couple of days. For 120, probably 2 weeks. Maybe a little bit less. I'm not sure how the XP rates are gonna even out.
The scaling, it's a normal skill to 120, correct?
Yes, it should be.
Yeah.
So the scaling is going to be 13 mil XP for 99, and then 103 for 120.
104.
Yeah, 8 times the 99 XP for 120.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did say that 99 was going to take 2 weeks, and then 120 was going to take another 2 weeks from 99. So in total,
Interesting.
about a month in their idea. But I don't think it's going to take that long at all. Purely because someone out there is going to be like, haha, I got this idea, and they'll do that, and then like, bam, 99.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So I think the first 120 is going to be after 2, maybe 3 weeks. A big maybe. But
Right.
definitely
What
around 2
about
weeks.
200 mil?
Well, 3 weeks.
April 13th.
Okay.
April 13th. Oh,
really?
that's
That
nice,
quick?
yeah.
That's like 2 weeks.
I'm being a bit generous maybe with the time. Like, okay, if you were to start a new skill right now, you had all the money in the world, you had every opportunity given to you to train this skill. Is there any skill at the moment that would take longer than 2 weeks to get 99?
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah, not a single one.
Get 99? No.
Especially if you're putting in the time, right? Like
Yeah.
you're going, 18 hours a day like the people who are racing will be, right? Maybe
Yeah.
more.
So I don't really think that this skill is going to be any different to the slowest skill at the moment, because they're basically saying that this is what it's going to be. It's going to be the slowest skill in the game. I don't think so. Jagex have really been good at making things extremely fast. For instance, Mod Ryan is working on Archaeology at the moment, and he was a guy who decided, hey, 600k AFK thieving XP an hour, that's great.
I spoke to Mod Ryan at RuneFest,
Yeah.
and I asked about XP rates, and he said it's going to be faster than what Div was on release, but slower than Invention. So that literally told me nothing.
What?
Because he combined the slowest XP they've ever done.
That's like 100k to like 4 mil or something.
Yeah, exactly. So it could literally be an XP rate. He could have just said that you get XP, and it would have gave me the exactly same
He
conclusion.
must have been trolling you, man.
Yeah.
Ah.
I did have a conversation about Maikeru as well regarding XP rates, because it was mostly regarding player on farms and whatever. Because I didn't really understand the massive addition to XP rates and wanted to get like their ideology on that. And the basic idea was that it had to be awarding than previous content was. So basically, it gets faster because people need to have a good reason to play it, right?
Mhm.
And I think this is going to be kind of the same thing, because when you have XP rates that you're used to in this game at the moment, like 300k XP an hour, 400, so something probably goes up like 1 million XP an hour. I'm not sure at the moment, but probably some things do. And I don't think this is going to be a massive dent to that.
Right, but if it doesn't, I guess if you compare it to other skill rates, then yeah, if it wants to compete against others, maybe if it wants to compare it to the slowest, it'd be like woodcutting or fishing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to compete with itself, whereas other skills do in new updates, right? Like you said, with player-owned farms
Yeah, exactly,
and save
yeah.
cracking. So maybe they will make it super slow on the start and then eventually release things and make it faster.
Oh, they should make it like 20k XP an hour at 120.
That would be so
hilarious.
funny. No, but I was thinking about like the way I feel like Jagex are creating their content, right? They have to try to please as many people as possible. And at the moment, you have like the PVMers, you have people who are used to quick XP rates, and all of those things, they have the same thing in common, and that is that the skill can't really be slow.
Right. That's fair. I get that. But you got to remember it'll be on release as well.
But does that matter though?
Yeah, so when it comes to on release, they're going to be thinking about maximum XP rates if someone bought it all and done it that way, right?
Yeah.
But if you're buying materials off of people and you're leveling the fastest you can, the people who are selling materials will fall behind you and there'll be no materials at your level to buy because you and your other 100 people that are in the top 100 are the only people with that new material. How does that work? Does that slow it down? Do you go back to the previous tier to buy from people still? Like, how does that work, you know?
That's why alts kind of scare me.
Yeah, true.
I guess they get slowed down too, though.
Yeah. I understand when it comes to, new players or returning players wanting fast XP. But if they don't think about when all of those materials are in the game in a year's time, like, the skill's going to be way too fast. So I think on release it's going to be slower than what people think, and I honestly feel like it's going to take like at least a month for someone to get 200 mil.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't think Jagex really wanted to be that fast of a skill, but like I said earlier, I think the players always figure out a way to make something fast.
Yeah, that's the thing.
There's only so much that they can do. I think there's like an expectation when you play RuneScape, like you know that it's going to be slow, and I mean, that's what people play it for, really. Like, it's more like social, and I think that a new skill is big for community engagement and stuff. So I don't know if that'll necessarily affect it, like, because I play a lot of fast-paced games too, but like every once in a while I'll be like, oh, I want to play RuneScape because I just want to chill out, I don't really want to shoot people or whatever,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no other game that you will really have in the background while playing another game. Like, you have RuneScape as a second game
exactly.
sometimes. And I guess they probably wouldn't mind making Archaeology slow if it's semi-AFK or AFK-able kind of thing, because people will just watch movies while doing it, or they'll play a fast-paced game, like a shooty game, They could play that, yeah, but still be getting gains on Archaeology. So I don't feel like they have to make it fast. I feel like it's going to be slower than you think. Like, it's going to be slower than you think, and especially on release when there's not many materials in the game, because I'm pretty sure they haven't really said any items other than like porters and stuff that will work with Archaeology or be needed for Archaeology, other than like harmonic dust or making your mattocks if you want to make the ones with bars.
Yeah.
And everything that you do to level up Archaeology will be from Archaeology. And that on a new skill means the economy hasn't even been established, and everything needs to stabilize and everything needs to be brought into the game by doing the skill. And if everyone's using up their stuff they get, then it's going to be very hard to buy your way to the top, especially when you're higher than everyone else. So it's definitely going to slow it down a hell of a lot, unless, like Ken said, the community can find like some random OP method that they can abuse.
Yeah. I like how this hinges on that the community finds something to abuse.
I think it's pretty comparable if you think about it. Like, if mining and smithing was one skill and it was released today, like there wouldn't be any ores already in the community. Like, think about it like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Because everyone would have to mine all the ores, and
Yeah.
then they'd have to be processed into bars, and then like it's a little bit slower than it will be further down the line, probably.
Yeah, further down the line, I think it'll be the XP rates that you're expecting, Will.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Ken said, if it's smithing without being able to buy the smithing, it's slow as hell. You're like an Iron Man
a
doing
very good
smithing.
point.
So I wonder if the previous mining sites tradable things are gonna work on the next level up dig site. It's supposed to be like divination energy, right? I wonder if it's gonna actually work on the higher level ones or not.
Oh, that's interesting, yeah. Well, I hope at least that it's not gonna like waste like bank space, I guess, because I don't know like how much it's gonna add to the game in that sense, but they have their own like bank of sorts, doesn't it?
It has its own deposit box kind of thing, like the
Yeah.
ore box, and then it has its own storage, like the forges. So it will have two ways of like storing your stuff.
That's interesting, actually.
I think it's called a soil box, and you put the soil that you get from Archaeology, because you get materials and soil. Soil can be cleaned to give you more materials, and then the materials obviously are used to repair the artifacts. You get a soil box that you can upgrade, and it can hold your soil, and then you also have porters that can bank stuff, and then you have the porters sending it straight to the ore bank, which obviously isn't an ore bank, but it's the archaeology version of it.
It's really nice that someone's been doing their research here. I'm kind of going in this a bit blind on purpose, because I didn't really have that new skill hype with divination and invention. But my favorite skill release memory is the day they released Dungeoneering. Just because they just did it. And at the time, right, I remember this so clearly because it was so much fun. But people was expecting it, right? Because you had this like thing going with you have a new skill every other year or something like that. And it was leading up to that point. And everyone knew it was coming very soon. So every time system update, countdown appeared in the corner, everyone was going, new skill, new skill, new skill, new skill. And it never really was until it suddenly was a new skill. And I remember I was at a store at the moment looking at sweaters with my mom when I got a phone from my friend going, there's a new skill! Oh, what's the icon? It's a ring! And that made no sense at the time. It was great though. And just the entire idea of looking at the high scores, right? Seeing the rank 1 player is just level 34, seeing the rank 1 on the overall page, switching like it was a presidential election. It's so weird. And it's such a cool experience. And for the first time, even though I'm quite aware it's coming very soon, I feel that hype.
No, I agree. I do feel like they haven't really revealed too much about the new skill. They did have it at RuneFest, and, you know, I know certain things about it, and they've confirmed certain things, like one of the things being the Biting 4 upgrade from Biting 3, and that most things that go to level 3 will now go to level 4. Perk-wise, so you can expect maybe Aftershock 4, stuff like that, but they're going to be very expensive because they have 9 slots, so you're going to need 9 Nox components, you know, stuff like that. Then they've also revealed the basis of how to train it, like I said, with the bank that it has, and the box, and the soil, and whatever. Then, other than that, they really haven't said much about the skill at all, and they, like Ken said, he really wants to see the place that you train that's like the flame place. Like they haven't shown it. We have no idea, right?
I hope that's a secret. I want to be able to like experience it in game first, like, or not first, but like without like a teaser or something. But I kind of think RuneScape has lost a lot of that, which is like, I don't know. It's a double-edged sword. It's like, do you communicate with your community about new updates, or do you like hold back to let them experience it fully on release?
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of miss like back in the day, they used to like gradually drop hints before big updates. Like if you think about like back in the day, the next door, everyone like was freaking out about the next door, and if you stood next to it, it would like make weird noises or something.
Yeah.
And then like when next was released, everyone was flipping out because you could get into the next door, and like, I don't know. I think it'd be cool if they like, imagine if they like added a dig site, like one of the like the first dig site to the game, but didn't put any of the like actual skilling elements inside of the dig site on Monday. Like it would be so cool to just like be able to explore it and
just look around. Yeah, it'd be really sick.
That'd be really cool. And, like build hype. I don't think they're gonna do that, but you know.
I think it could be cool with the teaser, but I feel like they're gonna be too far with the teasers.
Yeah, a teaser's good, but they don't want to show too much. I feel like they've done well so far.
Yeah.
They haven't shown too much. We know the basis and we know like what to expect, but we still have no idea how it's actually going to work and how everything's going to fit together. So as long as they don't do like some huge thing where it's like this is exactly how it's going to work, or like do too much of a teaser or show too much more, I feel like it would be really fun to explore and experiment everything as you go. But they really don't do it for bosses and stuff, like Ken said. But back in the day with Nex, that was sick. And like even when they released AOD, they didn't even say that AOD dropped a wand.
Yeah.
They just said the prayers. So when it dropped a wand, people were like, what the hell? There's a tier 92 wand. This is sick. Like, amazing. But then when they released Solak, they literally just said everything that was going to happen. They showed the first phase before even releasing it. Like, it was crazy how much they showed of that boss. And the same applies with, like, Elite Dungeons. They said there was an Eldritch Crossbow. They said the spec. They said everything that it was going to give, you know? Like, there was no, wow, that's cool, that's new.
Yeah, I really hope it's going to be something unexpected, There's something massive that no one's, like, mentioned anywhere. That's,
Like, yeah, like maybe where they say Ancient Summoning, right? Where they've given us 3 familiars. If there's, like, 20 familiars, I'll be so happy. You know,
That'd be
they
cool.
could be. There potentially could be all of these cool things. Same with the ancient relics. We know there's gizmos. We know there's like boots and stuff. But there could be, 30 different items, and they've only said like 5. So I really hope that they're holding back on some stuff, and they haven't even shown pictures of it, because that'll make me so happy.
Oh yeah, I do want to say though that I think it seems like they have included the lore community quite a lot in this, which I think is a really good thing. I know they have felt very isolated from a lot of updates, especially around Anachronia as well, where it wasn't really that much to look at, I guess. But it seems like they've done a lot of lore related things with archaeology, and considering it is archaeology, I do assume it's going to be a lot of
Makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of things to read and to learn and to dig
for
around
sure.
on. So I am.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I'm excited for it because I don't really care too much about it, but I am excited for the people who do care about it because I think they're going to have a field with that.
They said it was going to link a lot into Gold Wars Dungeon 1 lore.
Okay.
So that's cool.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, there isn't too much to say because they are doing well with the whole let's keep this on the down low and not reveal too much. I guess the last thing to ask, would be stuff like when you're doing the skill, Ken, like what rank do you think you will end up getting? Because you said you're not going to go too hard on it. What do you think you're going to end up with if you're racing technically racing, even though you're not doing too much? And like, how much effort are you actually going to put in?
I would like to maintain top page at the very least. So I would say top 25 at the minimum.
That's my goal, but I feel like I'm going to have to put in 16, 18 hour days for it.
It's just there's so many people, there's so many factors that are going into it, like with people account sharing, and like even if they do crack down on account sharing, this dude will have his brother play and stuff, I don't know, we'll see. I just hopefully I can get top page.
Right, and have you got money set aside for it, or are you just rolling with what you got?
I have money, and I can take loans if I need.
You can take loans.
That's
enough. Popular these days.
So I've set aside 15 bill.
15?
I'm gonna be.
I have 400 mil, and I'm proud of myself.
So yeah, I've set aside 15 bill, and I'm gonna be playing probably about 18 hours a day, streaming a decent amount of it, and I really want to get front page, but in the back of my mind, I still don't know whether that's enough, and that scares me a lot.
Yeah. I think if I really wanted to, I think I have 30 something bill on my Iron Man that I could transfer over to.
Iron Man? Jesus Christ!
So yeah, I could probably transfer that over if I really needed, and then obviously if I need more, I can.
Yeah, if it comes to it, I'm gonna sell my Black Santa and stuff if I really need to, but I don't want to. I hope that's enough.
Yeah.
Are you able to transfer from your Iron Man? Was that what you said?
Mm-hmm. You can kill your Iron Man and then pick up the stuff.
Oh wow, I didn't know that worked.
You're hardcore Iron Man.
No, not that one. Well, that one I could put stuff in the. There's a box from that quest, Carnelian
Rise,
chest.
and
Yeah, you can put your stuff in that chest and then dig it up on your main account. Password.
Oh wow, that's actually kind of interesting. I didn't know that worked.
So you can chuck in some Praisal codexes or whatever you have multiple.
Yeah. But Maikeru, this is gonna be your first skill that you're live streaming, right?
Yeah, that's another thing that I'm excited for, because it's
yeah.
I never made content when Invention was released, and I started making content shortly after Invention came to the game. So it's literally the first one that I'll be making YouTube videos and streaming. I'll mostly be streaming, but I do want to make videos of my first look and then 99, 120, 200 mil. I want to discuss those milestones in videos, and then once I'm 200 mil, I'll go recap everything, say how I did it and everything like that. But it's gonna be interesting because I feel like I'm gonna be doing nothing but streaming, honestly.
Oh, you should do a 24-hour stream when that happens.
See, that is one thing that I don't know whether I want to do.
All right.
Because I want to be serious about racing. And if I start the race off and do 24 hours and then sleep and oversleep or exhaust myself, or even if it's I get to the 18-hour mark and I'm very tired, I'm going to be inefficient for those 6 hours.
True.
I think me doing an 18-hour stream, then sleeping or something, and then coming back earlier,
just
would be
consistency.
more beneficial. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'll just say that streaming new skills on releases is a very fun experience. And Invention was pretty hilarious. Every time I was in a Discord with a lot of not a Discord, it was TeamSpeak back then. We were in a TeamSpeak with like, I don't know, 10 people, and every time like we'd talk about like a new method or something, like it was hilarious. We would like go do something, and then the JMods would like fix it on a hotfix, and then we just go do something else, and it was like pretty hilarious experience. Like there was jellyfish and raids, and then we went to like Dagonoth Kings, like trying to figure out a good method for invention, and
That's really cool though. It's nice. It's nice.
they just kept patching it.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It was pretty fun. And then obviously there was like people who were merching things, like in our Discord, they would say, "Oh, this thing is really good," and then like people would buy it out.
Fair enough, yeah. So you can make things skyrocket, like just by talking about it. That's hilarious.
Like I remember, like when people first figured out about the hand cannon thing, I just told my stream, I was like, I'll buy hand cannons for like 50k or whatever. And then like a bunch of people came trading me hand cannons because they just bought them out of the GE, but then they were like bought out. And people stopped trading me. I was like, what happened? And then people were like, oh, they're like up to 200k. I'm like, what? What the heck? How did that happen? So yeah, it's pretty fun experience.
I think Archaeology will be quite good to stream as well, because people who want to make money from it, who aren't racing to 200 mil, they'll be willing to sell you their materials and stuff. So if there is a buy limit, etc.,
Yeah, for sure.
like streaming it definitely gives you a huge advantage, because you just like,
Yeah,
hey,
it does,
chat,
yeah.
any of you want to sell me some of this material, I'll give you like 5% over the GE, whatever it's going for.
Yeah.
And boom, you get you whatever you need, which is really cool.
I think a lot of people is gonna get seriously rich,
For sure.
which is gonna
Honestly,
be interesting too.
I don't know what the best way about doing, to make money, because what would it... I don't know. I'm like theory crafting, and I do it just for fun, I guess, but what I think would be the best if someone wants to make money with Archaeology would actually be to spend money at the start to get as high level as you can, and then sell the highest tier resource that you can, and be like the first person selling that resource, because you're going to make so much money. If you're like one of the only people that are selling that resource and people need it, you're going to make a lot of money, right? Like, so I feel like buying your way through the first maybe 50, 60 levels and then selling stuff that are like tier 60, tier 70 probably would be the best bet if you want to like make big money.
I could see that, or just playing the market, just like camping GE and just flipping and whatnot.
Oh yeah, flipping will make tons as well. And alt accounts, like you said, alt accounts are scary.
Yeah.
Imagine someone running 10 accounts on Archaeology release, getting loads of materials and just selling it. Like, Jesus Christ. Thing with that is as well, you don't actually need anything to start Archaeology.
Yeah.
So you can have a level 3 account that will go and just get you GP, and it can be free to play up to level 20. So you can actually get level 20 resources on free to play, and you can actually make a decent amount of money if you just play multiple accounts at the start.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed chatting, and that was pretty fun. Obviously, we'll do like another one maybe if closer to the time, if they reveal loads more. But if they don't, then I'm sure there'll be other podcasts we can think about doing and have fun, because I do want to do these more often. It's been a very long time since the last one.
And we should definitely do one after release as well, just to see how it's gone.
That would actually be pretty cool, yeah.
We predicted, that'd be fun. I don't know. I feel like I'm very... Every time we do this podcast, we got the one guy in the comments going, well, it's so negative, and here I am like, let's talk about the disasters. What went wrong? I'm excited for it though.
Yeah, I think it'll be really cool to actually do one after the release, maybe like a week after release or something, and be like, well, this is what happened, completely different to what we thought, or like we thought this or something. I think that'd be really cool. So we'll definitely do another Archaeology one afterwards. And I do want to do maybe one or two before Archaeology with like different subjects, which would be really fun.
Yeah, we can do that.
But yeah, thank you very much for coming on as well, Ken. I appreciate you being here, and hopefully you had fun chatting about it. And
yeah, it's always fun.
I appreciate you being here, and it was fun chatting. It was fun last time and this time as well.
Good times. I like talking about RuneScape. It's fun.
Yeah, okay. I don't know, I feel like I'm good. I'm really appreciative of Ken coming in as well. It's very interesting to hear your perspective of this, considering you're in the end game, literally. So, quite cool, appreciate that. And Maikeru, it's always a pleasure. I had a lot of fun doing this. We definitely should do a few more very, very soon. Thank you for listening, everyone. This is Trimming Armour, and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.